Startling experiment proves alien civilization in this episode on the Secret of Skinwalker Ranch. The staff at Skinwalker Ranch is looking into unexplained occurrences and any potential links that may exist between various locations. They discovered a dark substance that is extremely conductive in close proximity to a magnetometry survey anomaly. In order to have a better understanding of the bizarre happenings, they wish to evaluate the conductivity, and shockingly, this startling experiment proves alien civilization. A multimeter, a vehicle battery, a conductor grounding rod, and a well pipe are going to be used by the group in order to measure conductivity. They will connect the components by digging a hole in the ground and then test the voltage and current. The conductivity of the soil will be investigated further with the help of this experiment. The group examines the prospect of subsurface energy sources as well as the potential that extraterrestrials are involved. They are interested in discovering the power source that could be responsible for energizing the event. They have high hopes that the experiment on conductivity will yield additional insights. The components are connected by the team, and then they measure the current that is moving through the ground. They were taken aback when they discovered a large flow of current that was almost 1/3 of an amp. This points to the existence of a power line or transmission similar to one buried beneath. The group conducts additional tests of the conductivity by first unplugging the power source and then monitoring the lightning detector. When the alarm goes off on the detector, it shows that there is energy being carried through the earth. This substantiates the conductivity and provides evidence for the existence of a triggered phenomena. The amount of current that is traveling through the earth from a 12-volt battery is incredible, according to the team. This discovery is regarded as insane, and it contributes to the mystique surrounding Skinwalker Ranch. The discovery of new Pandora viruses in France that share almost no DNA with life on Earth lends credence to the panspermia hypothesis, which postulates that life originated in another location and then spread to Earth. The skulls found in the Paracas region of Peru have several peculiar characteristics, such as enlarged eye sockets, holes in the rear of the head, and brains that are noticeably larger and heavier. There are many who contend that head binding cannot account for all of the irregularities. The fact that the DNA extracted from Paracas skull 44 does not match any known human DNA raises the idea of an ancient lineage descended from something other than humans. Swiss researchers have developed the world's first synthetic DNA by encoding digital data into particles of silica. This method has the potential to store enormous amounts of data in objects that can remain intact for an indefinite amount of time. Octopuses exhibit talents that are similar to those of extraterrestrial beings, such as the ability to rapidly change color, use tools, and rewrite their own genetic code. These abilities suggest that octopuses evolved from somewhere other than Earth. The skills of octopuses have led some people to theorize that they could one day overtake humans and become the dominant species on Earth. Ancient myths and stories from a variety of cultures describe octopuses. This has led some people to speculate that the octopus may have an extraterrestrial ancestry or be the product of extraterrestrial experiments on Earth. An unusual burst of radiation was picked up by a radio telescope at Ohio State University in August of 1977. The burst appeared to have originated in the vicinity of the constellation Sagittarius. An astronomer who was watching the data scribbled "wow" on the printout from the telescope because the 37-second-long signal was so surprising. The transmission of the signal was prohibited on Earth because it occurred inside a spectrum of radio frequencies that is subject to international restrictions. In addition, natural sources of radiation from space tend to encompass a greater spectrum of frequencies. Because the nearest star in that direction is 220 million light-years away, either an enormous astronomical event or intelligent extraterrestrials equipped with a highly strong transmitter were required to produce it. There is still no explanation for the signal. In 1996, scientists from NASA made the contentious announcement that they had discovered what seemed to be fossilized bacteria in a potato-shaped piece of Martian rock. The meteorite most likely became detached from the surface of Mars as a result of a collision. It then traveled around the solar system for approximately 15 million years before crashing into Antarctica, where it was found in 1984. The rock was subjected to careful analysis, which indicated that it contains organic molecules as well as minute specks of the mineral magnetite, which is occasionally discovered in Earth microorganisms. The researchers at NASA also claim to have seen traces of nanobacteria while looking at samples with an electron microscope. But in the time since then, a significant amount of the evidence has been contested. Other authorities believe that the particles of magnetite are not at all comparable to those that are discovered in bacteria, and that pollutants from the Earth are the source of the organic molecules. A study published in 2003 shown, among other things, that crystals that mimic nanobacteria may be generated in the laboratory by the use of chemical procedures. In the Uinta Basin of Utah, there is a piece of ground that is claimed to be home to paranormal happenings. This territory is flanked on all sides by the Ute Indian Reservation. After purchasing the property 5 years ago, Brandon Fugel assembled a group of researchers to determine whether or not the rumors were accurate. Those who claim to have encountered skinwalkers at the ranch and in the surrounding area are not just the members of the Ute tribe alone. Over the course of the last century and a half, there have been a large number of sightings and claims of giant humanoid entities that exhibit intelligence. In 1994, Terry Sherman, who was the owner at the time, told a story of a time when he noticed something approaching his cattle while they were confined in their pen. He went in the direction of sound, only to discover a wolf that was 3 times the size of a typical wolf attacking a calf and biting its head through the bars of the enclosure. At point-blank range, Sherman fired 3 shots at the enormous beast. It didn't even flinch. Instead, it just rotated its head slowly and peered at him for a few minutes, evaluating him as best it could. After that, it merely retreated while maintaining its composure. In their account, Terry and Gwen, Terry's wife, described the odor as being similar to that of decaying flesh. There have been several other sightings of gigantic wolf-like animals and other humanoid beings, and the descriptions of them vary greatly. Sometimes they are said to walk upright like humans, while other times they are said to walk on all 4s like wolves. Other people have said that they have followed the creatures into the snow, only to witness what appeared to be wolf footprints transform into human footprints and then vanish. When scientist Colm Kelleher looked up into a tree one night in March 1997, after the ranch had been sold to Robert Bigelow and his National Institute for Discovery Science, NIDS, to lead an investigation of Skinwalker Ranch sponsored by the Pentagon, he saw a large humanoid figure with yellow eyes watching the research team. This occurred after the ranch had been sold to Bigelow and NIDS, after it had been owned by Bigelow. After he shot at it, it raced away, but Kelleher saw a peculiar print in the snow under the tree that looked nearly exactly like a big raptor's footprint. The indigenous people who live there are aware of the cause, which is that the area is under a curse. Do not forget to subscribe and turn on post notifications for more updates. For generations, locals have told tales of unexplained lights in the sky through mythology and rock art. Later, European settlers added their own accounts. A Franciscan missionary named Silvestre Velez de Escalante, who was camping in 1776, claimed to have seen blazing lights in the sky above his fire. Humanoid creatures, unidentified flying objects, strange lights, mutilated livestock, and other paranormal events aren't the only things associated with Skinwalker Ranch. The ranch is also notorious for playing havoc with technology. There is also an abnormal increase in the area's typical measures of things like electromagnetic and radio frequencies and even radiation. Sherman had reported the phenomenon, but it persisted long after NIDS assumed control and began conducting scientific research at the ranch. There was a total failure of electronic devices, and in some cases they discovered the inner workings had been pulled out and shredded. Abnormal creatures found on Strange Island. Aliens? Click on the next video to find out more.